A big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video. Morning everybody, great to see you all again. So today I'm in a really special place. It's one of my favourite places in autumn where there's some stunning silver birches. And if you're anything like me, then you really enjoy a project. So if anybody has followed my recent trip to Cologne, you'll probably see, hi Peps, that I have been looking at various cameras and I've got quite a bit of new equipment. Some of it was brought on by breaking my camera, and some of it I wanted to get because I wanted to improve my videography. And so I've got a Fuji X-T3 and a Nikon Z7. I'm not going to talk a lot about those. You'll probably see them in the next few videos. And you know, at the end of the day, the tools to take photos and whatever camera you have, it's all about getting out and getting to the right location at the right time. I bought them more than anything for the video tools. But one of the things I've got to do, obviously, is I've got to get used to these cameras. Now, the Fuji I'm fairly familiar with because it's quite similar to the X-T2, but the Nikon Z7 or Z7 to you guys in America is, you know, there's quite a lot of different things on it. Anyway, cutting to the chase, what I always like to do is a project. So if I get a new camera, or if I'm just lost a little bit of inspiration, then I think it's really important to have some sort of project to concentrate on and to really think about something specific when you go out and shoot, rather than just taking your camera and wandering around. So this week what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot some woodland. Obviously it's autumn and you know that's a fantastic time of year, so what better to do than come to a place like this with amazing silver birches and try and get some autumn shots. Now I'm going to do it over the week, so you're probably going to see me in various different clothes depending on how warm it is. In fact, I think there's some fog forecast later in the week, so that should be really good. I'm really excited about that. Today it's not brilliant, it's blue skies, but I'm sure I'll still be able to find something, and then I'm going to get a collection of photos together that sort of gel together, hopefully to be able to then put on my wall. So I'm looking for maybe 3 to 5 images that sort of fit together and sort of tell the story of this amazing woodland here in the Peak District. Now I've done other things like that as well. The project that you do might not necessarily be something like this. It might be that you want to do a project over a year and you take the same spot in winter and autumn and summer. I did that at Mamtor because I go there a lot for workshops. I've taken a series of photos there. You're really cuddly, Pebbles. And Pebbles has just spotted a squirrel over there, so she might dart at any minute. So yeah, so projects are really important, and if you haven't got a project, then think about what you might want to do. Maybe you want to concentrate on macro photography, maybe you want to just improve your long lens photography. But by doing that and having that purpose, you'll start to find that your photography improves. Okay, let's see what I can find in this fantastic forest here. So when you're shooting in silver birches like this, or any trees really, you've got to be really careful. So at the moment I've got the sun over in that direction and it's pointing in this direction here, and it looks quite nice, but there's a lot of shadows cast. And although our eyes are really good at sort of filling in the details in the shadows and helping that image just become a more interesting image, when you take it on your camera, you reduce that dynamic range, the shadows become darker, and even bringing it back afterwards, you just don't get that same look. So you've got to try and shoot a scene like this with either much more side lighting and you don't get the shadows, or just try it in fog or where there's no sun at all. So there's some cloud coming over at the moment, so when the sun drops and I get rid of this sunlight here, then I think I think it should start to look a little bit more interesting. What do you think, Pebs? I've just stopped here because you can see just behind me there's a tree that's just catching the light. So even though it's around about 11:30 at the moment and it's fairly flat, horrible sunlight, you can still get really good shots. So you can see the sun is just catching those leaves, and what I'm trying to do is get quite close up, do quite an intimate shot with the sun catching the leaves and then the silver birches in the background. I'm going to take it at probably f4 and then probably 8, so I want to see what it looks like with a short depth of field and a long depth of field. And I'm shooting on my Nikon Z7 with a 24 to 70mm lens, and it's zoomed into 70mm. Yep, looks pretty good. It's a good starter, I think.
Sailors passing on the street, are you ready for peace? Ships are filling up fast, are you ready for ease?
I was just getting back to the car and I really didn't think there was going to be anything here, but you can see this tree, this old tree which I've shot before, but it's really difficult to shoot, but the light's on it really nicely and the clouds are really dark at the back, so it's working actually quite well. So I'm just doing a simple composition with the tree, the rock, and then this really nice light grass in the foreground. And it's probably not going to match into my series and my project that I'm doing, but I thought it was worth shooting, so here we go. And what a day. It doesn't get any better than this. Wow.
Forget bad memories and leave those hurting knees behind. Birds are filling up the sky, are you willing?
Okay, it's another day now, as you can probably see by the mist in the air, which is fantastic, but it's also raining quite heavily. But that's not a bad thing, because I get to try a camera out in some really bad conditions and see if there's any issues with that before I really need it. But I'm hoping to get a really good shot today because this mist is just amazing. I think it's going to linger for a little bit. So I've just taken a bit of a selfie with me and Pebbles, and now I'm just going to wander around the woods, and I'm probably going to go to a different location. I'm quite close to home at the moment, but I'm probably going to go up to Surprise View again, where I was 2 days ago, and hopefully get something good. But yeah, I'm excited, and hopefully the focus on this Nikon's working okay. If I'm not in focus, it's not. Okay, let's go.
Birds are filling up the sky, are you willing to try?
I found a shot which is quite interesting. So as you can see up here, there are some leaves that sort of backlit, and the ground's just really nice, and the lighting just off this green sort of lichen on the wood just looks fantastic, doesn't it, Pebbles? Yeah, she said yeah. So I've got my Nikon set up 24mm. Don't really want to go too much wider than that, so I've not swapped to my other lens because that's about the right width, and also because I'm putting up a little bit, then I'm getting quite a lot of distortion of the verticals, which I'm going to have to correct. So I don't want to have to make that even more by going wider. I ideally like to shoot sort of horizontal or slightly down. I find that better when I'm shooting woodland. So, and it's a simple case of just focusing on the tree, f8. It's about half a second because it's super dark because of all the mist, which is going at the moment, so I've got to be fairly quick, and I'm going to go and shoot another tree just up there as well. Wow, absolutely gorgeous this morning, so gorgeous. And I'm still going to go back to the silver birches because I still want to do that project around silver birches and see if I can get some 3 or 4 pictures around silver birches, but it's not bad to get an extra few shots in as well.
Many more will come, many more under the sun, back will keep it steady. We will be the confetti.
So I really like these trees here. I think they're just changing, which is just what I wanted. I just wanted to show them just changing. So it's a question of getting a composition with these trees and the really nice changing ferns as well. So the clouds are pretty good. It's a little bit flat, the light. I could just do with a little bit more reflected light. I don't want direct sunlight, but I want a little bit more reflected light off the clouds just to push a little bit more light into the trees. But it looks good, doesn't it, Pebs? Hey, it looks good.
Many more come, many more under the sun. Pack your finest suit, and we will keep it steady. We will be the confetti, and if we fail, we just reboot.
Okay, it's Thursday now, and as you can see, I'm not in the silver birches anymore. I'm just in the local forest, and there's no fog today. I really hope there'd been some fog, because I feel that I was trying to do sort of two projects. My main one was my silver birch one, trying to get some detail of silver birch and some of the really early autumn colours with the silver birch, which I think I managed to do, and I'll show you those. But I actually had quite a good series going of some fog images. And so I looked at the weather. It looked like it was going to rain overnight, so I expected the humidity to be high and there to be some fog here, but unfortunately there isn't. So I'm going to try and get some photos. And I think that's what landscape photography is about, really. You go out and you adapt and you change and you do different things. I mean, at the end of the day, this week was about testing my new cameras and trying to understand them a little bit more, so when I'm in some really amazing conditions, I'll get some great shots. And I feel that I've learned a lot from this week, and I've produced some good images, and I've got a series of fog images which I'm really pleased about. So if you're thinking, should I get out? Because the hardest thing in landscape photography is getting out of the door and actually getting your camera, picking it up and walking out. Then just do it and try a project. You might be surprised. Okay, so Pebbles had a lot of exercise this week, and we're going to go back now to the studio and have a look at these images. And my fog series, I think, is going to be quite good. I think I've got 3 images that I think are going to gel well together. So we're going to go and try and print those out and see what we get. Go on, Pebs. Let's go. You staying there? Just always want the limelight, don't you? These are the photos my fog photos that I've taken and printed out. Now there was one photo which was this one here, which I took a few months ago. And I wanted to sort of match this with some others. And I got the opportunity on this walk here with Pebbles to get these other 2 images. And I just think these just really look great as a sort of set of images, and it's just really nice to sort of fulfill that project. Really, it's more exciting than just going to take one photo. And yeah, I really like these photos. I think they really work well together, and they're called green, so obviously you can see why. But I find that when it's foggy, you just get this real subtle palette sometimes that I think is just so gorgeous, and it just really brings out the greens in Macclesfield Forest where I took these, which yeah, I'm really pleased with. Okay, I'm going to go back in my studio now and show you a couple of other prints as well. So as I mentioned in last week's episode, I'm really pleased to say that the video today has been sponsored by Squarespace, and the reason I'm so pleased about that is I really genuinely believe that Squarespace has a product that is just so useful to me as a professional photographer and other photographers out there. So as I've said in the past, I used to run a software company, and I'm fairly technical. I could have set up my own website, but there really wasn't a huge need to do that. And more importantly, Squarespace has the tools that allowed me to produce something that was pretty amazing. In fact, I don't think I could have built a website as good as it. But more important than anything is you just don't need any technical skills to be able to do it. Now, a lot of people talk about the templates, the designs, and how easy it is. And yeah, that's great. That's so simple to set up. For me, what was so important for me was the commercial side of it. So how I could add a product into my online shop, being a print or a workshop, and take credit card payments really, really simply and not have to worry about it at all. So I've got this new print, which I'm really excited about putting on my website as available for sale. So with Squarespace, it's super simple. All I need to do is go to my print section here, click new physical product, upload an image. All I need to do to upload that image is go and drag and drop it in, give it a title, give it a pricing, a description, and save and publish. It is that easy. It's now published and somebody can go and add that to the cart and take credit card payments. So that's why I was really, really pleased that Squarespace did offer to sponsor my channel, because I think it's important that I'm promoting something that I genuinely believe in, and I do think that it has a massive benefit to us as photographers. I want to work with Squarespace for a long time, so to help me out and this channel out, go and take a look at Squarespace, and if you're ready to try it, go to squarespace.com/Nigel to get 10% off your website or domain. Just wait a second. Forgot something. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I wanted to make an announcement as well. So I've also added this print here, which I absolutely love. I mean, and also it just looks so good on this PhotoSpeed NST bright white paper. It really pops. And I've also added this to my website, as I said, and any new photos that I now add as limited edition prints to my website, for the first 2 weeks I'm going to offer them at £79 rather than the £109 for the A3 version. And yeah, so that and that other one that I just showed are now on my website as available as limited edition prints. Now, I shot this week's video on my Nikon Z7, and I'm not a camera review site. I'm not going to do a full review of the Nikon Z7. I'll probably tell you little bits about it as I use it over the next few weeks and months, but I've used it for a week. I obviously shot the video on it. I took all the photos, including this one on the Nikon Z7, and I've been really impressed with it. I think one thing that's really good is the focusing. So the focusing from a video point of view is just fantastic. It's doing it at the moment, so any focusing issues you'll see. It's fairly easy because obviously it's just locking on my face and doing that focus, but it's really good. I'm really impressed with it, and the video quality out of camera is just amazing. The image quality is really good as well. Again, I've not really tested it hugely. I printed some big prints though. When I say that, they're not big prints, but I've printed equivalent to an A1 size print on an A4 bit of paper. So I've just cropped a little bit out of the image and printed it, and the quality is so good, so much better than my Nikon D810 and my Fuji X-T3. So I'm really excited about being able to offer really big prints on my website soon. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode this week on projects. I do get quite excited about the projects that I go and do, whether they're a year-long project or a day-long project. If you've got any ideas for projects though, put them in the comments below, because I think it's always good to have ideas for things to do with your photography, to give you another lease of life with your photography, or really inspire people. So I really appreciate that. And if you enjoyed the episode, hopefully I've earned a subscription. So if you're not subscribed, then subscribe below. And if you've liked it, give it a thumbs up. And until next Sunday, bye.
And if we fail, we just reboot. We just reboot.